Hey everyone, today I'm going to read an excerpt from a book by Ruth King called Mindful of Race, Transforming Racism from the Inside Out. Just a couple of notes. I did kind of change the language a little bit so that it's a little bit easier for younger students to understand. And this is supposed to be like from a white person's perspective talking to their children about racism and how white people have treated specifically black people in the past. My child, I'd like to tell you from my lips the truth about our racial history, about whiteness, and about being a member of the white tribe. Years ago, our ancestors did a terrible thing to other humans. They owned black people as slaves and treated them very disrespectfully. We beat and tortured them. We sold their children for money and owned them as cattle. And we relied on them to grow our food and take care of our children. Yes, our people did this. White people. Not only did we do this to blacks, we also did hateful things to people who we felt were substandard or less than us, like Native Indians, Mexicans, Jews, Japanese, Chinese, and poorer people than we are. It's true that much of the greatness of this country is due to the labor of black people who were enslaved, and we owe them a huge debt. We have, as a white race, deprived black people from participating in and benefiting from one of the wealthiest countries in the world. Our success, however big or small, and the many privileges we enjoy as a family are rooted in the sadly denied history. Even to this day, white people benefit from things in our society that black people do not. Many poor white people feel like they are better than black people, even better than the first black president of the United States of America, Barack Obama. Being ashamed about this is not as helpful as understanding that we have a lot of work to do to respect blacks and dark lives, to release and to share the wealth and privileges we have for all that they have given to us as white people. Black people and other people of color are rightfully angry toward us, white people, because of the centuries of hate and disrespect that we have shown them. We have continued to build prisons to hide black people in, instead of facing the years of hatred towards them and shame towards ourselves that have resulted in destroyed hearts, minds, and communities. Most important, we have died inside as a result of making hate normal for the white race. We have become numb, divided, rude, and unloving towards our own race because we cannot love each other without first dealing with our history of disrespect and hate towards others, especially black people. What this means to you and me is that we must wake up to this history and own that we walk with great ease in this country on black people's still sore backs that we whipped into submission. What we witness today in the black collective expression is the result of generations of blacks who have seen their parents and grandparents killed and hated and disrespected by us. They were helpless against it. We made sure of that. You need to understand, my child, that white people, we have other fears. We tend to walk without racial fear, and black people do not. This world is not safe for them and other people like them, dark people. And it's because of our history, our whiteness, our supremacy. To this day, we have better schools and access to things, and we are still the central race in all aspects of society, work, and leadership. Many Black communities and their schools are poor because we have kept them at a disadvantage. Many Black people are considered criminals, even though they're not doing anything more than we do in our own communities. Yet they are imprisoned and used again as slave labor. Many white people want to maintain white supremacy, and there continues to be attacks on other races near and far. We have done horrible things as a white race, unspeakable things, yet we have not spoken or been honest with each other or ourselves as a white race. While you and I may not have done these things personally, this is our history and our inheritance. Our challenge is to do everything humanly possible to recognize and interrupt any act of disrespect and unearned privilege. We must use our voices, our bodies, and our hearts to make this wrong right. We need this in order to be free, truly free. This does not mean kissing up to Black people or anyone else, although it may seem that way. Instead, it means you should be willing to face the pain that Black people carry because we've been so blind to the role we've played in these extremely difficult times of their lives. Our job now and for a long time is to just own up to it, apologize, and recognize that their pain is not directed at you or me as an individual, but as a white race. I tell you this because you may receive anger from Black people. When they see you, they are also seeing our history. They see you as someone who, like our forefathers, hated them. And they see our ignorance, our forgotten history, a history where we consider them as less than human, but as possessions or something that could be bought and sold. This history wasn't that long ago. They are and should be hurt and should be angry by our neglect and hate. There is much to be done. There is no time for guilt and shame. We must forgive ourselves and correct this wrong. We must become advocates for all of humanity, especially Black and dark-skinned bodies. Enough said for now, but we will speak again and again and again on this. Okay, so the reading is over, but now as a white person, I just want to kind of invite you to think about this. What comes to mind when you hear this story? Do you kind of feel uneasy? Do you feel queasy? What type of emotions are you feeling and why this may be? And then just kind of think about yourself. Is there things that you could do in the community? Or is there just things that you could do to educate yourself or your friends or your family? Is there something you learned at school or heard about that you want to share with people? Or if you see someone being mistreated, try to stand up for them and try to do, what is just, what is best for you and everybody around you. We have a long way to go, but I do feel like we are on the right track and we can make this world a better place, one person at a time. Thanks for listening.